Hey, everybody. Welcome to My Socially Speaking. My name is Sunny Day, and you are right here with me at my YouTube channel. First things first, please like and subscribe if you're so inclined to do so. And welcome. Really glad to see you today. Today's topic is going to be all about education. Lately, the past several weeks, I've been getting some comments about education, the lack thereof, and the fact that it's not needed at all. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. I don't think I could agree to that, to be honest with you. Of course, education is not, well, let me say, formal education is not for everybody. Everyone does not want to go to an actual university, either in person or online. I get it. I know some people are just totally disinterested in academic settings, formal institutions, universities, and colleges. I understand. I even understand that some people are disinterested in getting certifications and getting licensing in certain subjects. I even understand. I don't condone it. I don't promote it. But I understand when someone says they don't like to read. I love to read. I wrote a book, Social Work Drama. I attended Long Island University in Brooklyn, New York. I received a master's degree in counseling and education, and I received a bachelor's degree in psychology. And then I went on to receive my certification, my preliminary certification in chemical dependency with the state of New York. And that was hard. That was real hard. So I get it. I understand. I'm also not a really good test taker. Tests are designed to be very cunning and very insidious. Tests are sneaky and grimy. They're set up I was going to say to basically make you fail, but they're set up to get you, they're just really tricky. They're really tricky, for lack of a better term. So I've never been very successful in test taking. However, I love to read. I really love to read, and I really love to write. But I get it if people don't. But I have to tell you, if you are a person that feels education is unnecessary, I'm sorry, and I strongly say this, and this is something I do not say often, but I'm sorry, you are incorrect if you feel education is not necessary. Sure, many people can, I'm not even gonna go as far as to talk about celebrities or athletes. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm just gonna talk about us regular people, day-to-day, ordinary, working class people, that us non-celebrities. I'm just going to talk about us and say that, sure, you can get a favorable job out of high school. And when we're talking about education, you do got to graduate from high school. Yeah, after high school graduation, you would be able to obtain a favorable job that pays a salary where you feel like you can, if you choose, purchase a home and purchase the car that you like, have a family, vacation if you like. Sure, you can get a job after high school that can afford you to do those things without pursuing your education. But here's the situation. After you obtain that job, that ideal job, that let's say you get in that job and you can retire from that job, there's still the rest of your life you have to live. And that old saying, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, that's so true because you live your life. You interact with people. You will hopefully travel. And sometimes being educated or uneducated can also play into that too, with feeling like or not feeling like I want to see the other side of the world, and then if you're uneducated, trust me, if you're uneducated and you call yourself traveling around the world, that's not going to work out very well for you. You need knowledge. You need information. Even, I said I wasn't going to talk about my celebrities, but even my celebrities, you can see it with them. There's many that have returned back to school after they've been very, very successful because there is this insatiable feeling of lack of knowledge. And it is actually present. It comes across in business deals, even going away from the celebrities now, coming back to us, business deals, banking. If you have children, there's documents you need to sign, agreements you need to make. We can't escape reading. We can't, unless you have some form of learning impairment, we can't escape reading. So, in knowledge, after you read, then you're going to have to process what you've read. And many times, depending on what it is you've read, it could be job applications, and job applications are extremely lengthy. And not to mention, speaking of jobs, with an education, you do better. And you have so much more freedom when you become educated. I don't care where you live, what you do. But when it comes to occupation, when you are educated, you have so much more freedom. You have so much more autonomy. Even if you don't make a whole ton of money. I didn't make a whole ton of money in my career, but I would not trade that freedom and that autonomy that I had while I was working in social work. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Sometimes when you're uneducated, you might feel you're really not, but you could feel like you're in bondage, and people will treat you accordingly too. So the more education that you have, the more knowledge you have, the more wisdom that you have, the more information the more information you have, the further it will carry you. It's just not something. Now, if you choose not to do it, then that's fine. I'm just saying, I've been hearing people say, somebody said to me recently, a master's degree, what's that? Like, she was saying that she had her bachelor's degree and that she didn't need a master's degree. We all know if you have a high school diploma versus associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, you're able to have a better job if you have your associate's degree or if you have your bachelor's degree. If you have a college degree, you're going to have more job opportunities available to you. Subsequently, if you have a master's degree versus a bachelor's degree, there's going to be more job opportunities opening up for you. But it's not only the jobs. It's, like I said, the information, the wisdom, and education provides you with so many different topics, so many different subjects that you might not have otherwise explored. I'm going to say for myself personally, when I was in both undergrad and graduate school, studying statistics was something that was foreign to me. I had not ever fathomed that I would study statistics. I'm glad that I studied statistics. Nope, I did not get an A. And in graduate school, you have to get a B. So I did get a B, and it was challenging. I had to get a tutor. It was almost depressing because for me, it was challenging. It was difficult, but I enjoyed that push for myself, that mental stimulation. And just knowing the computations and figuring it out and learning it, even with the tutor and even with failing, most of the tests, I just barely passed them. But I do appreciate still to this day that I did learn statistics and chemistry and biology. Those were subjects that I just was not inclined to study. But because I pursued a certain curriculum, they were classes that I had to take. And I don't regret it. I don't regret that push and that sense of self-accomplishment. I feel it right now, even just talking about it. Even math, college math was a struggle for me. Like I said, I'm a writer. So when it comes to mathematic computations and chemistry and sciences and biology and experimental psychology even was a little bit of a challenge for me. So I understand when people say that, they're turned off or disinterested because it is challenging. I get it. But even though I get it, and even though a person makes a decision not to pursue an education, please don't say it's a good idea not to do so. Of course, it's a good idea to pursue your education. It's always a great idea to learn. We have to expand our mind. We have to expand beyond where we are. We have to grow. We have to become indulged in different types of conversations. We have to be mentally stimulated. And if we don't, there's a large degree that you're going to be kind of stuck. You might not want to admit it. You might not even notice it, but most likely you will notice. You'll notice it, but you might not want to admit it. You're going to be oblivious to a degree because as we age, wisdom comes with age. And if you're aging and then the wisdom's not there, you're going to see yourself missing a piece. And even in day-to-day routine life, if you're uneducated, you could just go to purchase a car and just something could be so oblivious to you. You didn't know to read the fine details. You didn't know to do research, or someone explained something to you and you didn't know to ask. I'm going to give you an example. I was calling to make an appointment somewhere and the person on the other line attempted to, I got to give you specifics to give you a good example. I was looking for an optometrist and I was calling a health coverage insurance. And I was looking for an ophthalmologist and they kept giving me optometry. I got optometry 4 times and I kept saying ophthalmology. And I didn't want to spell it because I said, if I spell it, I know they're closely related, but I said, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to insult somebody and then spell it, but they gave me optometry, a number 2 an optometrist 4 times. And I kept saying ophthalmologist. And then the person said to me, well, to be Pacific with you. And then I was like, now I know Pacific. I know people get that confused. But even something like that, even because that's kind of a big deal. Like it's not, but it really is. I was a customer calling, and we do make grammatical errors. We do speak. We don't always enunciate. I know we make some errors at times, but she was firm. The representative was firm in saying that. To be Pacific with you, let me tell you. And I'm like, and just that's a mild example, but people experience those types of situations every day, all the time, and sometimes don't even know it. So I want to encourage you, if you're contemplating, if you're considering, if you're thinking about pursuing an education, I want to encourage you to pursue an education. It's still well worth it. I promise you to God, it is well worth it. I've had my own challenges. I've had my own struggles, but if I had to do it all over again, I would still have gone to Long Island University in New York and received a premium education. I know I heard Long Island, LIU is a little bit different now. I know everything's different now. But I received a premium education. I'm so proud of that school. If I had to do it all over again, I'd still go back and get my bachelor's in psychology, and I'd still go back and get my master's in counseling and education. It was extremely fulfilling, and it has definitely, I can't even put into words how my life has been better because of it. And I haven't had the best career at all, but I could tell you I did something I enjoyed doing. That education put me in a place where I was able to enjoy the work that I did. I enjoyed social work. I enjoyed writing. I enjoyed working with my patients. I enjoyed working with almost every client, almost every resident that I've ever worked with. I enjoyed it. And because I received a degree, an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree, I can say that, and I can say that with affection. I say that affectionately. So if you feel like you're not interested, I always tell people, just try it out. Now, if you hate reading, you hate writing, probably not. Probably not. If you hate it. But if it's something you dislike, because you can push yourself, you can encourage yourself, you could challenge yourself and see, and you can do it if you really want to do it. So, you don't have to be great at it. I got better at writing as a result of my professors. I was already a good writer, but I became a better writer. I'm still not the best writer or perfect, but I improved. And the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. Somebody told me that a long time ago. So I encourage you to strongly consider it, at least in the academic setting, at least a 2-year degree. And if you absolutely hate it, you're winning because you got a 2-year degree. You still have a degree. And don't worry about the cost because you're going to always get the money back. Unless you're one of those people that ends up in one of those very high paying jobs or a comfortable paying job where you feel okay. And then I encourage you still do some self-educating. If you don't want to do formal education in an academic setting, read. Ebooks are great. Books on audio, the internet. Become informed, become knowledgeable, develop some kind of interest, something, if you decide not to pursue a formal education in an academic setting. Although it's just, a degree is indispensable and it does so much for your self-esteem too. A great deal for your self-esteem. Just opens up a world of doors. Liberal arts, and if you're good with numbers, as long as you're picking something that you're good at. If you're great with numbers, I don't know how good of an idea it would be for you to pursue a degree in sociology or anthropology because you're great with numbers. So of course you would want to consider bookkeeping or accounting. So try to choose something that that you like, so you won't become disgruntled and miserable and hate it. Try to choose something that you would like. Just give it a shot. I promise you, and I don't make that many promises. I know I probably made one on my channel, but I promise you, if you actually attend school, you actually pursue an education of any form, even if it's a real estate certification, if you're interested in that, and if you're really good at test taking, or I can't think of anything else off the top of my head with a licensing. Chemical dependency has a certification, and it used to be where you didn't need a bachelor's, but you do need your bachelor's now. I'm trying to think of programs where, I'm sure there's many throughout the world, programs that are programs for employment where you can obtain licenses or obtain certifications without having to attend an actual university. And then there's the comfort of the internet doing the studies on the computer. I'm a very hands-on person. I like to sit in front of my professor and listen, and I'm a person that raises their hand, ask a question. So for me, that wasn't a favorable, ideal situation. But I know everybody's busy. Everything is microwave era. So I know some people want to do it online or whatever, but please, please, if you don't choose a formal education, please don't omit education. Please don't dismiss education. We need to be smart. We need to be educated. We got people coming behind us that we're going to be teaching and showing and leading and explaining. So we need to really know what we're talking about, not just talking crazy. That's where lack of education comes into play. Sometimes you're talking and you think you know what you're talking about, and you really don't, because you didn't sit your behind down and read some books somewhere. So again, if it's not a formal academic university, college, institution setting, then at least become well informed independently. Gain some knowledge on your own. Read, do some research, okay? Ask questions, and don't count education out. So this is one of my so-called public service announcements. Yeah, because I heard over the past couple of weeks that people were discrediting education, and it is not to be discredited. And education is still very important, still very much encouraged, and still very helpful. We want to be intelligent people. Not to say just because you don't have an education, you're not intelligent. That's not true. But you're definitely better off pursuing an education and obtaining that. I tell any and everyone that. So until next time, I will definitely be missing you. I hope this information is helpful. Please let me know. Give me your feedback. And thank you. And I will see you tomorrow.